Evening. Hope you're well. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? I hope you're not panicking too much. If you've been listening to some of my content, you would have known that this was due. She's always good. I've got an itch. My back. Oh, I'm just dying, I think. So, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like. Obviously, leave a like. Hope you're well. Let me know how you're doing. Sunday. I'm a little bit earlier today. I got shit to do, to be honest with you. Football to watch. I don't know why I want to watch it, to be honest with you, but I want to go a bit earlier today. See what it's like. Hopefully a nice, relaxing stream. Hopefully there's no real panic, but I'm looking at the charts and I'm quite happy with what's happening in terms of the demand zones potentially being tapped. You can see on the screen here a potential demand zone for Ethereum. Been talking about this one for about a week or two now, but it's always going to be a pull-up, push-back, an impulse, pull-back even. So yeah, all is good. But people are panicking, I know. But I do want to point your attention to something. This really annoys me, right? Look at this, right? Sorry crypto zombie, but I've got to say it. Look at the clickbait on that. I mean, it just hurts me. Hurts my eyeballs. You can learn a lot about a person in terms of their likes and dislikes on the YouTube channel. But yeah, try not to panic. Don't fall for the clickbait. This was a long overdue correction for Bitcoin. If you were watching any of my videos over the last week and a bit, I was even saying very obviously, guys, this is unsustainable. Look at it. Look at it. But it is still in an uptrend. I don't know why have I got a pen. So it's still absolutely fine. This is like a perfect situation where we are going to pull back. Everything looking quite good, healthy. And this is usually why we talk about potential moves on altcoins, because the movement of the outflow from Bitcoin into altcoins is more likely. Also, historically, in March, Bitcoin is a bad month, but for altcoins, it is usually a good month. So we do need to talk about why and certain things are happening. But we also need to look at the dynamic that some of the big cap coins, some of them have already pumped, Cardano for example, but the likes of Ethereum still, in my opinion, low valued. There's a lot of big cap coins that are sitting, waiting to go. So if we look at Bitcoin in a more obvious nutshell, it's a correction, it's a dip. But I think this 40k level is where the demand zone is, where we're going to probably go. This is a 618 level from this impulse. And throughout this video, I'm going to talk about how to buy dips, essentially, how to correctly pinpoint levels on your chart, to do a limit order, especially a limit order on dollar cost averaging, essentially, because a lot of people have no idea how to do it. And we'll go over it because people do panic. People tend to buy the rips and sell the dips, where you flip it around, you buy the dips, you sell the rips. Always good. But we talk about it. So what we're essentially seeing is a massive monster move from the previous correction, which is absolutely fine in my eyes, when we're looking at it. If we're looking overall, Bitcoin in a matter of what? Since the 27th of February, January, to basically the 27th, so a month, right? We're talking about a month here. Bitcoin has done a 100% move. 100% move. Quite rare for Bitcoin to do that, especially at these levels. Price discovery mode. And we've got to pull back. We've got to pull back. And ultimately what's happened is we've dumped, we pull back up into this rejection level, this resistance line, and we're going down. So the next wave is essentially around this 40k level. So I'm expecting a 40k tap. But one thing is happening as well over the course of the night, or very, very soon actually, CME futures. CME futures will open its doors to a gap. We like gaps, don't we? So we may well find it hit the likes of 40k, and it may well go right up to 46,000 again very, very quickly. So it may not last long, but we need a boring, steady, simple Bitcoin, essentially. So that will help if that does happen. The fundamentals are, it's still an uptrend. If you look at that, it's still a monster bullish trend. It's still looking quite good. Everyone's going, oh, it's a bear market. Fuck off, honestly. Until it's confirmed, you're just speculating. It's all pish. But the lower it goes and the slower it goes, the more opportunity there is for liquidity grabs and the potential leg up to the upside. So when we talk about altcoins, flipping it over a little bit, We're looking at the likes of Ethereum, as I mentioned before, potential demand zone. If you look at the weekly time frame, it's a horrific week for Ethereum. But it's, I say that, but on the BTC pair, it's not been bad. So this is a Bitcoin pair. By the way, check out my Twitter because I will be doing an explanation of why I choose Satoshis, how to grow Satoshis, a little series I'm going to do on my pinned post. Stay tuned. But when we start looking at all this kind of information, we're in an uptrend from, you could probably argue that the start of the catalyst was September 2019. So we've been forming this very obvious uptrend throughout time in Ethereum on the BTC pair. We're still in this uptrend. It still looks really, really good. And this is where I'm thinking the next level is going to be, where we're going to start retesting levels up to this point of where it's previously been. So I think this is a fib level, essentially, or an extension level. And I do think that this is going to be the one that will probably play out in the not too distant future. But we need to be patient. Yeah, it's an extension level. Could go higher. So we're at the 618 levels, give or take. We may go a little bit lower, liquidity grabs, people panicking, all kinds of good stuff. But things are going to get very, very interesting very, very fast when, you know, if this does move, because it is still in an uptrend. It still looks absolutely fine. And we're forgetting that dominance of Bitcoin is still, as much as we love to talk about it, it's still quite low. You know, it's not massively high. It's not gone crazy, and it could still fall a lot lower. If it does, bigger coins have went boom, which is always good to see. But yeah, life's fun. What questions have we got? Have we got anyone fighting in this comment already? Guys, if you are words, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and obviously as well, slap that like. We've got less than 100 likes, man. Come on. But yeah, Bitcoin has literally, in my opinion, the bull market is just, you know, nowhere near ending, man. Nowhere near ending. But yeah, waiting for this to dump further. If this dumps, life will be good. Do people like black backgrounds or white backgrounds? Because personally, backgrounds on mobiles just looks very, very distorted. Looks rather naff. May change some stuff. May make the borders of them ones black. But yeah, life is good. More blood. People want more blood. But yeah, I'm really not that bothered about this. Yesterday, I sold my Cardano. I don't know if people know that. Sold it because I bought at ridiculously low levels and made a hell of a chunk on it. So I'm quite happy with that. So I may buy back lower if it dumps lower. I don't know yet. But it still could go up further. But Bitcoin's Bitcoin in my eyes. I like having it. It's always nice to see. But yeah. Black backgrounds matter. The reason why I don't like the black background is because when you're doing like educational content for like, you know, for learning, it's a lot easier to see as this, especially when you're doing Twitter as well. Whereas on a black background, it looks a bit shit. You know, it looks very. The reason why I do it is because when you go on Twitter, they're very, very blurry and they're not the greatest of images. Whereas if you do it black and white, it actually sticks out a lot more, so it's not as blurry. So you can look from a distance and not have to zoom in a million times. That's why I do it. But hey ho. I think Ethereum might have bottomed, but I can't be too sure because people are panicking. Like, look, you know, it may go a bit down lower, may go down to this point, but Fibonacci is for me absolutely king. We'll talk about dips in a second because I know people want to know how to buy the dip, but we do need to talk about why this outflow has happened. So, a bit of a tweet, hello, by Mr. Young here. Is he the? Bear with me. Yeah, he is. He's a founder of Crypto Quadrant. I couldn't remember what company it was there. It's a really, really good website, obviously. But we've had a lot of sellers go into the market from the mining pools. They're not the mining companies, they're mining pools. So essentially, F2 pool and whatnot have been selling shit. So I understand why they need to sell, but at the same time, it's a pain in the ass doing it on the open market. It's going to create panic, and that's why the dumps have been a bit more severe than normal. But they're going right into the essentially, in my opinion, as it kind of mentions here, it's going into the hands of people that want to buy. You know, we're talking about big levels of institutional investments here and a big level of institutional miners been in it. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But for me, I'm not really that worried that this is happening. In terms of everything else, so when we look at it, the dynamic of the market, it's still fine. Even though we're having an aggressive pullback today because of the panic, but it's the end of the month, it's a weekend, and selling volumes increase. So it's going to create a little bit of a panic, but not too much to really upset everything, because even the mood in the chat here, even the mood in like my Telegram groups and on Twitter, it's not that bad. Like, people understand that these markets kind of do this thing. But at the end of the day, it all depends on what you're looking. I personally prefer looking at the BTC charts and obviously the USD. But if we're talking about dips, and let's just do a very, very simple analogy of it. So let's look at Polkadot, right? So you've got two different variations, obviously, right? You got USD, which is obviously governed by BTC, and you got the BTC pair, right? I personally feel that this is currently at a good level because it's quite, well, I say it's a good level. It's not a dollar cost averaging sort of level for me to buy into DOT at the moment, because it's still quite high versus everything else. If you look at the chart, it's still progressively going up and it's doing well. Even today, it's up 2%, right? Even with the dump. So you don't buy DOT for that reason, right? I love DOT. I bought it years ago, technically. But at the end of the day, the fundamentals are simple, right? You don't buy assets like this if you're dollar cost averaging. Okay, that's rule number one, because people are panicking. Oh my God, there's a little dump, but you know, it's still high. You got to wait for the moment to get a real proper dip. And as much as you love DOT and you want to accumulate as much as you want, you don't want a dollar cost average up. Dollar cost averaging up is the worst situation ever. When you're looking at a pullback and like a pullback, let's have a little look at, what should we look at? Pick a, actually, we'll look at Zilliqa. Zilliqa's a good example, right? So why is Zilliqa a good example? Is because the BTC pair, it's had a pump, pullback, pump, pullback. It's still, every single time it's pulling back, it's holding higher. So when you start thinking, well, a few weeks ago, the 4th Valentine's Day, whatever, it was 315 sats. It's now 213. Yay. You know, that's the sort of thing you look for. But what do? There's 3 different things you can look at. You can look at bodily structures, so support levels. So there's a big support level here and a previous level of resistance. It's here, right? I've mapped it all out for you so you can see it. Very, very obvious, right? That is one level where you can start planning your orders in, right? The next one is obviously the Fibonacci you can use, which if you don't know how to use it, check out Learning Crypto, you'll learn a lot. You know, low to high in an uptrend, start the move, lower the move. You can plan strategic buys in and around a level. Obviously, you can see how low it went. It bounced back up and it's in and around this region. It's not doing too bad, to be fair, even though today's a bit of a mess. The next one is the obvious one, looking at the likes of moving averages. Moving averages are also a key. So you can use the likes of the EMA 21 is a real good one in cryptocurrency. The 55 is also quite well established and used. There's a few, but people panic and they don't build a position correctly in, you know, the world of crypto, in any sort of coins, because the fundamentals are simple. Build a position, buy low, sell high. But people go into that one. Reef. I know people are going to comment on Reef, but, you know, still looks fine to me. Still looks fine. Consolidating quite nicely. Let me zoom in. There we go. Hello. The Reef's consolidating. It's consolidating in a range. Looking quite good. It's not doing too bad. So just keep an eye on it. It could go a little bit lower though, but, you know, long-term opportunity, I'm not that bothered. RSR has been mentioned. RSR, again, had a little pop to the upside and pulled back down. You know, if we're looking at certain levels. Looks a bit of a mess on the weekly time frame, as you can see, but we are literally in resistance levels here, so we need to break above that level. So for me, anything below this line is probably a good area to be honest with you. As low as you can go, obviously. So if you're looking at dollar cost averaging on the likes of, you know, RSR, look at levels of structure. Look at that level all the way across and just put a line there. Why? Because it's had multiple taps, multiple levels, basically 100 sats, give or take around 100 sats is like a level for people to look at, because it always gets hit every few days. You know, if it goes lower, just buy lower. You know, find these levels. Very, very straightforward. Anyways, questions. Fire them over. Crack on. Anyways, how's people doing anyways? Are you struggling yet? Because, you know, this is the thing, right? Everyone gets really shook out by these moves. Bull markets are aggressive. When I first got involved in crypto in 2016, my first experience with a bull market was then. and it was aggressive, because I remember the days when the biggest shakeout that I really remember, that because it was my first one, I absolutely petrified the living shit out of me, because I remember seeing Bitcoin like $4,000, good times, and it went down to like 1,800 in a matter of like 3 days. It was like, oh, it was absolutely brutal. And I think Ethereum dropped massively, actually dropped way below when I actually, ever imagined it. And I saw people all over the place on Twitter, on Reddit and stuff, literally selling their positions. You saw, probably remember Tony Vase, he sold at 4K. And obviously what happened then, rocket ship, it absolutely went to turd. But yeah, everything's going to be very, very interesting. Adrian better not be in goal or I'm going to kill myself. I'm not even going to joke, I'm going to jump off a bridge. It's going to be a nightmare. My girlfriend is going to leave you over Bitcoin. Yeah, well, girlfriends are replaceable, Bitcoin isn't. There you go, that's a fact for you. Trigger of alt season. The reason why I say trigger of alt season is because the spillover into the low valued altcoins are getting more and more apparent. They're starting to see recoveries even today. Starting to see little recoveries on a few little coins already this morning and today. So if we go on to CoinGecko, right, these 24-hour dips, they're quite aggressive, let's be honest, but they're all at support levels. And when you start looking at outflow of Bitcoin, when they sell Bitcoin and move it into opportunities on the altcoins to, because obviously Bitcoin isn't as hot because it's coming down, they tend to pump altcoins. When you start looking at the facts of the dominance chart and you go back in time and you start looking at like previous level, let's go back in time I don't know, 2-day chart, let's have a little look. Let's go back down in history, right? So we always see in terms of this, right, February is usually quite strong, and then all the way through, we tend to get a drop throughout March. So you may well see that again. But when you start looking at the previous year, we're seeing a dump. I'm pretty sure it happened again. The start of this, yeah, it was starting. So we always have some sort of alt rally. And then, this one, you could probably ignore it because of the COVID crash. But what tends to happen in March is it tends to dump quite, well, not so much dump, but it's tax season. It's certain things happen with all the Bitcoin. So it tends to be like, let's move our money elsewhere. They take profits and they tend to make it work elsewhere. And altcoins tend to get a little bit of green light and tend to follow the trend. But when you start looking at how things have happened in the past, you can look at quite a way back and look at the start of the year. It's actually quite strong for altcoins, especially because they get a lot of sunlight, usually. But we'll see. We'll see. For me, I'm looking at the dominance chart thinking it's 62% and Bitcoin's at 43,000. It's had a mega dump. Great. What software am I using? This is TradingView. Mate, Barry, I don't care if they're hurting your eyes. Just put some sunglasses on. It's my channel. Don't care. What do I think of Trust Swap? I've never looked at it. What? When do we see some news on parachains from .reef and others? No idea yet. Not a clue. Not a clue. The thing with alt season, we talk about it in like, I think we're in one anyways. When you look at the fact of where dominance has been, so if you look at how high it's been over this was essentially the trigger point. It's like boom, but we're at a level of consolidation. Even when Bitcoin's been rumping like nuts, crazily in random moves, like 5-6% moves and stuff, this usually just shoots because people panic, but it hasn't. It's been quite steady. If it goes lower, it's going to be very, very fun. Very, very fun. But we'll see. Spillover is always key. We're seeing like likes of Ethereum. If people clock on that Ethereum's undervalued, they'll just go for it. I think the likes of Chainlink's very, very undervalued. Let's have a look. Go to some more charts. So you look at Chainlink. I've had this on my chart for ages now, waiting for it to happen. This is like a level of demand down here. And look, this was the previous alt season. Like, why are people not buying this? Why are people like just waiting for this to crack on? There's quite a few like this. Look at the likes of Graph, for example. Just popped, pulling right back down. It's going to go to an area of interest. A lot of them are literally sitting at certain levels, which could be very, very entertaining. But we'll see. Goodness me, I don't know. Here's a question for you all. Let me know. What are your opinion on Cardano? Because I want to know it, because at the end of the day, I held it. It was one of the easiest trades in my life. But the bigger and more valuable I get and see it, the more FUD, the more rubbish I keep seeing about it. Like in terms of it's rubbish, it's crap, it doesn't work, it's just a fake product. Be interested to see what it's like, because I think it's interesting. Reef isn't a scam. If you did any bit of homework and look at what it's doing, I mean, Binance wouldn't back publicly Reef. No. Let's just get rid of you because you're a loser. Bye. No one can see your comments now. I love people like that. But yeah, let me know about, obviously, Cardano, because I think a lot of people are really bullish on it, and there's a lot of people that really despise it, and it's interesting to know. Obviously, I don't hold it anymore. I bought it 2 cents and I got rid of it because I want to make essentially money. But when I look at it and I think, right, it's 38 billion market cap. How much of the race can it carry on going? It probably still could go a lot higher, but I always see it, whenever Cardano does well, the FUDsters are out, and it's probably the most FUDed project, in my opinion. We all talk and laugh about the likes of Reef having FUD, but that's nothing compared to what you see on Cardano, for example. But yeah, life is always good. In a current bull market, will you start selling your altcoins into BT? Yes, I already am. I already have been. I've sold 3 of my assets now. That's 3 sold. Gradually, as I mature in BTC value, I start offloading. My smallest bags have gone first, and then the bigger ones will go later on, but they'll be slices, not so much the full bag. But it's always good. It's the easiest way of doing it. I'd wait with selling into Bitcoin on certain projects, though. The likes of Reef, for example, someone just mentioned, you know, it's the start of the journey for that. So that's why I took profit out of certain things and put it into Reef, because it's the start of the journey. You know, at the end of the day, I've sold coins that have matured lots and made lots of Bitcoin, which is always important. But the fundamentals are clear. You buy low, you sell high, and then you put the profit into something that hasn't run yet, or it's got news and developments and stuff like that, or brand new. IDOs, for example, are quite hot right now. The likes of, you know, what's on PokerStarter and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I personally think that Cardano will turn around soon. I think 38 billion market cap, it's done a great run, but I do think it will come down. It's done like a 5x in a matter of 6 weeks. It's been ridiculous in terms of how it's kind of done its magic, and you know, it's going to catch people. I'm already seeing people, even on my Twitter, on my Telegram, telling me literally, right, should I sell my this, that, and the other for Cardano after it's pumped 600%? You just don't do that. You just wait, and then from there on, you kind of just go from there. You've got to buy low and sell high. You can't just ape into coins and hope it goes higher. Binance Coin's a great example as well. People are literally chucking their kids into this. Look at it now. It's gradually just dribbling down. And it's even down quite aggressively in Bitcoin today, 5%. So obviously, you got hype and you got fundamentals. The hype and fundamentals will always go together if the fundamentals are good. But hype dies down. The fundamentals always remain. But hype, well, unless something really changes, but the hype will always turn off. This is why you get people burnt, and why certain coins will move faster than others, or they'll just don't move at all for ages, then they move. But yeah, it's interesting to see the dynamic of what people do. Am I holding GZIL? Yeah, I'm still holding. It's free money. See what happens. I don't have mega loads. I've got about 25 laying around. I don't stake it anymore. I prefer value appreciation. Yeah, you talk about the new developments on Cardano, but we know by the rumour sell the news, high pricing, price action. We talk about it all the time where people will pump it, and it's not so much people, it's institutions, it's big money that will pump it to try and get that payday. We've got to remember this is a decentralized market. It's not fair play. It's not. You've got to have your elbows out. Well, you've got to take profits. Yeah, I've started accumulating KSM. So one of the things that I'm doing, I've mentioned this on like 2 weeks ago, I noticed that KSM was undervalued in BTC. So what I'm doing with this, I'm accumulating a position. I probably am quite late, I'll be honest with you, but I do think it's got more to give. We talk about the likes of people aping into the likes of Cardano, but this is only 1.7 billion. It could go a lot higher with the parachain auctions and stuff like that. So if we look at KSM, for example, if I can find the thing, in terms of this, it's had a monstrous rise, but it's also been pretty much higher at some points, obviously start of listing, but it's obviously even on the previous also it's been quite high. So I'm just building a position slowly in this. I'm not that worried in terms of price and stuff like that. It's obviously been a lot higher. So I'm just dollar cost averaging a position into KSM now. So I think it'll go much further. It's still in an uptrend. So we may well find from this level here on the 2-day chart. Let's have a little look actually. See what happens. You know, I'm just going to buy as and when it gets to a certain point. So if we're only the BTC pair, I think we will get a little bit lower. We'll see what happens. But it's still an uptrend, still looks quite good. So I'm just building very, very small position size. Not going to be going mega crazy on it. But I think that with Polkadot and I think with KSM, it's kind of like they go together. So might as well buy the pair. Why not? And no, I've not sold Reef. No point selling something that is literally at my entry point. You know. Are you blocked? I don't know if you're blocked. I can still see you. Yeah, Binance is a centralized piece of poop. But to be honest with you, it's the only thing we can use realistically when we think about it. Like, would you rather use that or Coinbase? Well, yeah. You know, always fun. RSR or Reef, what is more appealing to me? Current market values right now in terms of fundamentals, RSR. Simple, because they've got more happening. But if you're asking me in 9 to 12 months, will Reef be more attracted to me because of a parachain, potentially the DeFi world, and potentially a more rampant market? Reef's going to get more eyeballs because it's more attractive, it's more sexy. RSR is more of a buy low and hold for a lot longer than what Reef could be. Reef could ride the wave of the DeFi movement from this level all the way to a much higher level and make a lot of money. But RSR potentially has the impact in the world and the economical kind of downturn in other countries. That could be a very, very long-term investment that's quite stable and quite good. So they're both different in that way. The fundamentals both are different. And we look at the likes of Aave and Compound and Maker in terms of the Ethereum network with Reef. It may well pop very, very quickly, and they all did in terms of the DeFi space, whereas RSR could be a nice slow burner and it could get some real good value with some very, very good backers as well, may I add. That's why I kind of like it. Dollar cost average in layman terms is buying regular amounts at small intervals apart to get a position in a coin. So if you're looking at the likes of a month or a 2-month period, and you're looking at the likes of KSM, and you understand that certain level. Actually, let's look at another coin. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a better example. If you're thinking, right, I want to invest in Bitcoin, there's 2 ways of doing it, right? You got the obvious way. Every month, I'm going to put a little bit of money in, right? If you look at historic kind of data of that, it's very, very successful. But there's another one as well where you specifically think, right, anytime it goes to a certain point or it dips a certain point on a red day, I'm going to buy. I'm just going to put 50 quid in, $50 in, whatever. And even if you are looking at certain levels in like demand zones and stuff like that, if you have the information and the knowledge to go, right, I know that a certain level's there, we're correcting right now, I want to get my money ready, I'm going to start gradually putting money into the market at a certain point. I will put 10% of my equity in here, 10% in here, maybe put a little few orders in lower or whatever. Dollar cost averaging is literally building the position as and when you can, no matter what price it is. But the advantage is waiting for potential price levels to hit because it makes much more sense. Most people just buy all the money straight in at the top, boom, off you go. But the fundamentals are simple. If you're patient and you put little bits in lower, you're going to get a much better order. Simple as that, really. Hello. Questions? There's a lot of people on today. By the way, like the video, please. It will help a lot because we don't want to see people like this with really big clickbaity titles telling people to sell all their Bitcoin. What also I've got a question for you as well. It's my turn to ask you questions, right? How much, right? Would you rather hold for life, Bitcoin or an altcoin? I want to know that because for me, I see Bitcoin as like the biggest land grab in the whole world right now. Like everyone's trying to get it. And I think that these little shakeouts are trying to manipulate us to doing it, to sell. So let me know what you think in terms of the world of how much you want to kind of hold on to Bitcoin versus altcoins. Obviously, I think Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot more in the future, but that's my overall opinion. Not financial advice, of course. You will like it if I talked about Matic. I personally don't like Matic that much, but that's my game, really. All right. Yeah, a lot of people prefer Bitcoin. The reason why I say Bitcoin is because the dominance chart will literally tell you when to buy and when not to buy. Because when you start thinking, right, if you buy at the wrong time and Bitcoin's on a rampage, people's altcoins are bleeding, you want to try and keep that. But I like to have the most obvious amount of Bitcoin versus altcoins and use that as a play, really. But yeah, Ethereum will go back up. Of course it will. Ethereum's just started. Its journey has just started. Literally. Thanks for the lower. So yeah, the thing with my Cardano position, right? I literally bought at 400 Satoshis, like crazy. So when we think, like, I've been holding this for ages. Like I bought on like the 20-something of April, like the 15th, give or take around here. So it's like 470 sats, give or take. So for me, as much as I love the idea that I could go higher, I was just thinking to myself, like, I sold at like 3,100. I don't want to be that YouTuber to go, I sold here, but I genuinely did. So that was like a 554% gain, give or take, averages, obviously, stuff like that. So for me, when I think about it, what would I rather have, that now or maybe never? Because it might not happen. When we look at this, yes, it may go up, but also this was a parabolic freak show and we've never had it again. So I thought to myself, well, I only put 500 quid in a Cardano. The biggest fail of my life was the fact of not putting more in. So I've been offloading my smaller bags, you've probably seen this, but just getting Bitcoin back into my portfolio so I'm not overexposed. I've still got huge Among Us bags of Polkadot and Zilliqa, for example, right? And most people know that. But the fundamentals are simple with this. I thought, fuck it, why not? Apologies for the dog. So when we talk about, you know, profit and organization of your portfolio, if you're looking at something like this and you're not thinking taking profits, well, you should be. Like, especially if you bought at that certain level. Sorry, I'm just seeing what's happening downstairs. People at my door. That's all right. Anyways, what I was saying was, this may never happen again. It could do. Don't rule it out. But if you're not taking anything off the table and you've been buying at these lows, but this is what this is what scares people as well. When you talk about this level here, for example, if we go back in time a bit and we look at August, right? We'll look at August level, July, August time on the Cardano chart for the USD pairs. So when we start thinking, well, on the USD pairs, August, people are like thinking, wow, I've got a great opportunity here at like 16 cents. Yeah, great. But if you're in the BTC pair on the 16 cents, you would be losing so much BTC on this run down. And if you sold for profit, as in USD profit, because Bitcoin's gone high, you've just lost a ton of Bitcoin. So that's why I wanted to question why people, what would you prefer? Would you prefer Bitcoin or would you prefer altcoins? So it's all about, you know, life, really. Am I getting robbed? No. To be honest with you, my dog is an absolute complete arsehole. She will take your arm off. She's a Belgian Malinois, so if you Google that, it's basically a police dog. She's an absolute legend. She makes things very, very knowing. Voyager flashbacks. In all fairness, with Voyager, I took profits way too early, but at the same time, I bought ridiculously low, so the profits I made were pretty good. If I held on to it, I would have made loads more, but you know, profit's profit. No one goes broke taking profits, man. At the end of the day. Yeah, someone finally gets my location. I live on a boat. Do you not understand this? That's why I'm like wavy. Jokes. I'm gonna shock people. It's like, oh my god, he's got hair. Tika Tawari's at my door. Oh mate, what a knob. Honestly, can't believe people give him money. Oh dear, life is fun. Anyways, any more questions? Also, guys, like the video, please. It helps. In terms of other dips as well, we talk about dips and stuff. Trust me, right? Just go onto CoinGecko, go on the Bitcoin chart, and just do that, right? You'll start seeing the likes of the graph. You know, I've already showed it before. Graph looks like a stealing buy at some point in the future. Is Swissborg similar to Voyager? Yes, it is. The only reason why you don't hear about Voyager because it's basically in America only. The reason why I bought into it was because I understood that Bitcoin in the likes of Binance US and Coinbase was shite, basically. And Voyager was like recently took over, and I bought in September for, oh, actually, I remember this company. Oh, bloody hell, it was Ethos and whatnot like that. And then I bought into it. But at the end of the day, the idea was not for it to pop as quickly as it did. Obviously, the whole Reddit, Wall Street bets and stuff kind of made it a bit faster. So that was, I can't believe people think I'm bald. People will be guessing my age next. I mean, I'm young. I don't look it, but I'm young, right? But at the end of the day, right, we talk about like opportunity. That's why fundamentals come in. I always knew that Voyager would probably do okay with a vibrant market. I wasn't expecting it in like a matter of 4 weeks to go pop crazy. So yeah, there's like, in my opinion, plenty of dips at the minute for people to buy, especially with Bitcoin. A lot of them haven't moved. Like the Chainlink looks disgusting. Oh, actually, look at VeChain. Let's have a look at VeChain. I looked at VeChain the other day and I thought, oh, that looks like a good one. But you know, I always get distracted by shit. Yeah, VeChain's still undervalued, man. Still forming a bit of an uptrend here. I think the market's gonna go boom soon. In a good way. People think I'm 38. Are you having a giggle? Just to give you a little bit of a little bit of a thing. I am in my 20s. Let people know. I'm not retired. Wish I was retired. I'm not 32. I'm not 25. I'm not that young. Maybe if I shaved, I'd look like a 17-year-old. But yeah, it's always good fun. Also, let me know who your favorite YouTuber is. I just want to know that. Just see who's popular. Because I often find where people comment and what they say is based off who they follow. Which is always good fun. Other thing, what else should we talk about? The market's picking up right now, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that the altcoin market's starting to slowly pick up. People are taking the piss now. Honestly, you're taking the piss. I'm not 48. Not yet, anyway. I might look it with the crypto market, but I'm not. No, you can't judge alt season because it depends on the dynamic, but you can see the outflow. Do I have a Lambo? No. I wouldn't be able to get home if I had a Lambo because where I live, it's like quite cobbly and like the beautiful level of you know, speed bumps and stuff where I live. So I wouldn't be able to get home. Beached on a fucking speed bump. People are like touting out. Coin Bureau is really good, but he puts my channel to shame with how he talks because he sounds so well, and I'm like, yeah, sound horrendous. I know. I do apologize. In all fairness, though, with my channel, I started very, very late. So I started in April 2019, and I didn't even take it seriously at all until like the end of that year when I started. It took me ages to get over 1,000 subscribers. It took me ages to get traction, but it was a better market than it. But I was already doing other things. Anyways, I had a company built. I was doing certain things off the grid, essentially building, and then obviously YouTube just gone pop. Kill. Crypto Daily is probably my favorite. He has been for ages. Like, I've been watching him since 2017. I remember his first ever video, like, you know, watching him, seeing what he was saying. Like, it's amazing seeing people's journeys. And I think for me, it's always been Cameron in terms of, well, Crypto Daily. Oh, anyways, I do need to do what do you want to what other coins do you want me to look at in terms of dips or potential dips? More to the point, because I do think there's going to be some interesting ones. If most people don't know, check out the Bitcoin pairs on CoinGecko. It's definitely helpful. I think this just ruins the market because it looks so bad. Even when you do this, by the way, like, it still looks like a bag of shit. It doesn't do it for me. Oh, the pairs, the margin pairs on the 3, the 5, and the X are just margin. So long as you've pressed spot, it's fine. That's you're holding the true asset. Whereas if you're doing it on margin, you're actually borrowing from the exchange. It's horrible. Goodness me, lots of people want me to talk about coins. Crypto.com, let's have a look at that. I've not looked at that for ages, and I keep seeing alerts on that going, it's died, it's gone up, it's died, it's gone up, it's died. Like, honestly, it's doing me head in. Let's have a little look. What is the best? Holy shit. I don't even know where this is from, but that has actually worked out quite well. That's why structure is important. That's from ages ago. Can't even remember when I green. So when we start looking at crypto.com and we're looking at buying in Tether, talk about a dip. Look at that, 27. Oh, that's crazy. Have a look at the BTC pair. I'm going to start eating that penny. Sorry, I do see the chat going mental next to me. Found a doozy. Crypto.com's undervalued, by the way, boys and girls. Look at that for a dump, man. Remember that? Remember when Crypto.com, I used to promote Crypto.com. I thought it was the best thing ever, right? And then they ruined it. They literally ruined it. They broke everything. Their support staff went to dog shit and it just went horrendous. I think they've picked up again now, but that is so undervalued. That's crazy. This is why you look at the BTC pairs. Imagine, right? Okay, theoretic point of view. Disclaimer. This is theoretic, right? Don't start giving me daggers, right? You know when we talk about the BTC value, right? This period of time, Bitcoin was what, 10k, give or take? Obviously, we've done a bit of a move since. You know when we're talking about potential values of stuff, that's like a 5x gain, right? So we could be looking at Crypto.com doing a 5x if that happens, if it retraces that move and maybe go higher. That's quite undervalued, essentially. They're actually burning 70 billion. Jesus Christ. Gonna probably pop in it. Worth an eye. I'm not looking at Reef because there's not much price data. Avalanche I looked at the other day, actually. Avalanche looks alright. I think I could. Oh, actually, no. I covered. It is Avalanche. It is AVX. Yeah, I covered this in my YouTube video. That is looking good. That is like melty moment is a good moment, right? So Avalanche looks pretty decent. New bag of Ave or Avalanche. Ave's also undervalued. I've looked at Ave recently. I'm not going to buy it though, but again, on the BTC pair, it's on a demand level. It's on that 618 level, that fib point, so it's looking quite good. So that's another one. There's so many dips, man. Honestly, people are like panicking for no reason, but for me, I just look at them and I think it's crazy. Where do I see DOT going in the alt season? I've said this publicly. I think DOT is majorly undervalued. I think it's going to go ridiculous levels. Poker starter. Ooh. Pretty sure Poles is still quite valuable, isn't it? Have a little look. Have a little butchers. Yeah, it's still quite valuable, but it has dipped quite a bit. Worth keeping an eye on. if you wanna, I think you've got to hold like a ridiculous amount of these to actually get into the IDOs. But you know, when we start looking at we don't have much price data. I do apologize, but this was $7.80 and now it's $3.51. Is it? Yeah, $3.55 actually. So you always look at these and you think, well, it's crappy, but you know, anyone wants to buy those. Look at Zilliqa, or if you're American, you pronounce it as Zilliqa. Scares the living shit out of me when people do that. Zilliqa's still fine. Nothing to worry about. The one thing about Zilliqa that has a massive trait for, and you've probably noticed it, it's quite stable. It is quite stable. It has a few rips to the upside, but it comes back down, consolidates. It's always a good trait in a coin. That looking quite good in the USD pairs as well. Yeah, it looks fine. Probably gearing up for a launch soon. Rumors are Ethereum bridge coming out very, very soon. Don't know when though. Not a clue. Ooh. Why do people troll? I don't have anything better to do with my life. You don't know how to pick your nose in peace. Anyways, other ones that look quite good. Is anyone actually using? Oh my god. Is anyone using the basic attention browser, as in the Brave browser? Because I've got like loads of these laying around and I still think this is undervalued. Look at that, it's crazy. They're building their own decks as well, by the way. Have a little look at you, Trust. UTK. Put it on my watch list, shouldn't I? UTK. I sold this not too long ago. Don't know if you know that. Fucking Jesus, man. Whoa, this is dip. So again, if we're looking at situation of life here, right? Another one. Oh. Someone commented not too long ago, I noticed that I clocked it saying the Fibonacci doesn't work. Why did it bounce there then? Uterus looks decent, to be fair. I don't have it anymore, I sold it. I sold it at like 40 cents. 618 levels. Weekly time frame. It's undervalued, it's looking alright. Again, not financial advice. Well, pancake. You know something? I can't take the likes of pancake and cake seriously. Will it recover? That's all we got in it. Oh my fuck. Bear with me. Go back in time. That's all we got. Don't have much data to look at that one other than it's dying. Come on, polka dot. Look at that. I'm not in any DeFi liquidity providing pools or whatever you call them. Nope. None, I'm afraid. Don't really see the attraction yet. Like I understand the attraction, but I think I'm a bit scarred with seeing so many rug pulls and people going, oh, but this rug pull. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. You know, I just don't like to do it. Why would I sell my Uterus at those prices? Because I bought under a cent. Gotta make money somehow. The thing is, like, I did a video recently about one of my biggest mistakes, and like people were like, "Oh, in hindsight, if you just left your money where it was, you would have gained." But when you think to yourself, well, the fact that I sold my Ethereum at a certain point and then I rebought a load more at the bottom and I had equity. Equity is the growth vehicle and the fuel for making more money. If you're buying and holding for life and become a bag holder and then you don't sell anything, you've got no money to play with. So for me, buying the likes of Utrust at like freaking ridiculous level point and then selling it again at a much higher price, it's equity, it's free money. You know, it's always good. Frontier, people are talking about Frontier. So a lot of people, the problem is, I've mentioned this on numerous lives, there's too many projects out at the minute. Too many. I use Brave for everything as well. I don't even know how much I've got. Oops. Have I got much? Nout. I've disconnected my wallet though, to be fair. But yeah, I get quite a bit normally. Should we be buying now or wait until Bitcoin? Well, for me, if you're buying in Bitcoin, the dips are here. The dips might not even be here tomorrow because it's like they're starting to recover slowly. You probably already noticed over the last hour, the BTC side of it, some coins are starting to recover. Chainlink's up 2%. Hashgraph 2%. Sol, Polkadot 3.7. Matic, Polygon. That was a Pokemon, wasn't it? So you're starting to see this. We're starting to recover a little bit here. Most of it is green, and then you got some of that. What's happened to Celsius? Me. Luna. I just mentioned Luna. You know what's annoying, right? I wanted to buy this at 30 cents. Yeah, I didn't buy it, did I? Dickhead. But yeah, life is good. Anyways, I want to leave you very, very soon because I've waffled for too long. Tonight was basically a waffle session. What's up with Zcash? No idea. I'm not looking at Zcash in it. I didn't even think. Didn't Zcash just do a halving? Not hard fork, halving. Oh dear. I can see why you. Yeah, to be honest with you, probably a good dipping point. Monster correction though. It's always best to buy in BTC. Oh, that's my opinion though. Like people will disagree with me. Not all your bag though, just little bits. Zero exchange looks decent as well. I know a lot of people talking about that. I need to do my research in it though, so I don't want to just jump in and just go, oh, amazing. I need to look at it. There's a few that look good. Yield looks quite good as well. I like the look at yield. Like the look of, what do you call it? Just mentioned it then. Oh, it's gone. Zero. Cardano, what's up with it? Honestly, if you zoom out on Cardano, you'll see it's absolutely tickety boo. What's up with it? You tell me. Stop buying tops and you'll be fine. But anyways, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for joining me, by the way. It's been nice. Smash the like button. Really hard. Let's go over 500 likes. There's only 430. And obviously, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, and like. And yeah, this market's all right, honestly. You're panicking about a little dip like this, you're not looking at the bigger picture. Look at that, for example. Ridiculous. Every single coin looks pretty mean. That looks like a great buying opportunity. Every coin will have its day, but some will pop. And when they do pop, by the way, you're going to notice it very, very quickly. And it's going to get very, very interesting very, very fast. And at the end of the day, if you're not looking and preparing to buy certain dips, well, you know, it's that psychology, isn't it? Psychology is, it's green, it's doing well, I need to buy it. But if it's red and looking horrible, I need to sell it or not bother with it. Tether settlement, that's obviously good news. So yeah, anyways, bye bye. Enjoy your evening.